Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome our 2017 Commencement Speaker, Morris Duran Robinson.
Good morning. I'm a singer. I don't like things around my throat, you know? Lieutenant General Rosa, General Sands, members of the Board of Visitors, thank you guys for the opportunity. I am so humbled, yet so elated to be here to celebrate this day. You guys, you made it. It's over. It's done. So as a commencement speaker, I know that this is generally basically me presiding over a nap. So get comfortable. I know that between your finally getting out of here is one boring commencement speech and a walk across the stage, so I'll try to make this as quick as possible. 4 years ago, you guys decided to do something different. You decided to take the road less traveled, as we commonly call it here. You decided to forego flip-flops and sweatshirts and come here and shine shoes and do push-ups and shine brass and do PT. And I know when I did this thing, it just came across me like, was it really worth it? Like every day. I'm getting calls from my friends at regular schools and they're having toga parties and I'm shining shoes. I'm thinking, why, is this really worth it? So the way I got here, I'm gonna tell you guys a few stories. I was being recruited for football. And my first visit was Southern Mississippi University. And we went down there and we had a great time. It's the first time I got drunk. My dad's up there, he's never heard this before. Played drinking games in the dorm, went to the club, got into a fight, and all the stuff you want to do on the football recruiting weekend. And I knew at that moment, I'm never gonna graduate from this place. The very next weekend, I came to the Citadel, and Coach Long picked me up at the airport and brought me to campus at night. And it was beautiful. I saw 2nd Battalion Guard Room. It was lit up. He was ingenious with what he did because he took me right by and I saw the quad. No one was walking tours, so I didn't know what that was about. He was slick. I got a chance to experience that, by the way. But on my second day of my recruiting visit, this is what got me. Pete Long was my host, and he was a linebacker here. And we got up that Saturday morning after hanging out Friday night. This is a recruiting weekend. I'm expecting to have a great time. He walks up to me and says, "Hey, Duran, listen, man. This is J.D. Cawthon. He's going to watch you for the rest of the day because I have a biology test on Monday, and I got to study for 4 hours in the library." This is a recruiting weekend, dude. What are you talking about? I knew at that moment that I felt that this guy was better than me. He had his stuff together. He had his priorities in order. And I couldn't walk away from this thinking, nah, this ain't for me. See, we always tell people that Citadel is not for everybody, and that's what made me want to come, because I wanted to be something special, just like you guys did. You had an opportunity to do other things, and you came here, and you sucked it up. And I know the questions come back and forth all the time. Was it worth it? Was it worth it? Built into the system, we have things called honor, duty, respect, hard work, perseverance, the ability to adapt and overcome. You do these things on a daily basis, and it's not really easy to articulate accurately how those things will play into your life as you go on. But I can promise you, they will. If I can make it from the Corps of Cadets to the Metropolitan Opera, we don't have a music program here, guys. Like, the most I raised my voice here, other than singing in the chapel, was to go like, "Hey!" every now and then. That was about it. So that's how I learned how to project my voice. But I'm telling you that you are prepared for everything life will bring you. Just trust me on this. I know I sound like an infomercial person. Like, just trust me. Listen, I'm telling you. Something as simplistic as making your bed every morning may prove to be a vital part of your life if you get married, I promise you. All right, let's break the ice a little bit because I know it's kind of tense here. Okay, so when I was here, and some of these guys are going to tell you, On graduation day, the chapel was full of weddings. Everyone was getting married on the day before, the day of, and the day after graduation. Are you guys still doing that now? Yes? Okay, so listen, I don't understand this. What is it about this place? I mean, you go here for 4 years and you try your best to get out from under a very regimented and demanding environment, only to walk across the parade deck to Summerall Chapel and in front of God and the rest of your family commit to another very hard, demanding environment for the rest of your life. We have to figure out what it is about the educational system here that just says, you know what, life is about to be easy and I just need to make it a little harder, you know? So Denise is up there and she always talks about, you know, finding a Citadel spouse support group. Because apparently being married to one of us is a whole thing or some of that. You hear things like, you know everything, you're bullheaded, you're highly opinionated, you don't know what empathy is, you don't know what sympathy. You guys, I don't think that's the case. You never, ever, ever, ever listen, or something like that. I wasn't paying attention to what you were saying. But the point is, it's supposed to be very difficult. Anyway, all right. This is going to be totally different, I promise you. All right, so failure, disappointment, unfairness is built into the system. It's part of what we experience here. I was listening to the young man talk about how failure doesn't discriminate here. It doesn't. But you learn how to overcome that because guess what? Life outside the gates is going to present you with that. It's built into the system because they want you to learn. How many of you guys ever had the day where cadre just had it in for you, like there's nothing you could do right? Or even as an upperclassman, you know, you spend all Friday night cleaning your room. On Saturday morning, you knew, I mean, my freshman year, the football tack officer was doing my first SMI, so I thought, we got this, we're good. He walks in with a white glove, reaches underneath our bed, and finds some dust. And I broke down. I was like, there's no way this is fair. This just is not fair. That's life. Life will present you with that. It is not going to be an easy road all the time. But I promise you, you are prepared. If you can make it from the Lassane gates to this seat to this stage, there's nothing in life that you can't do. It's true. Now, just like failure is built into this thing, there's another part that some of you guys might realize, or just have realized, that I realize. Seems really choking me. The beauty of the Citadel is that sometimes you don't realize what you've accomplished and what people think of it until they show it to you right in your face. So let me tell you a story. This is a true story. So when I got done here, I was an All-American football player. I thought I was going to go play pro. I had everything that I needed to be a pro football player. 2 arms, 2 legs. I was good to go. The only problem they had with me was I was a little too slow, too small, and not athletic enough. Other than that, and I love music. I only had 2 loves in life, sports and music. That's all I ever loved. And when I walked out of here, I had not an opportunity to do either one of those things. So I had to do what? Had to reinvent myself on the fly. I found myself in a computer lab putting together resumes, applying for jobs that I really had no idea what they were. I didn't have a business degree. I had a degree in English. So I'm at my dad's house. I ran out of copies of resumes because I mailed so many of them off. We didn't have email back then. You just like put them in the mail and pray, cross your fingers. And before I say that, there was a lesson I learned my freshman year. During one of those, as we call it, cover your ears, guys, freshman motivational seminars. You know when they crowd all the freshmen in one room? No? Sweat party? Y'all didn't? They don't know about these things here. They're going to give me tours after this. An upperclassman said to us, he says, you know what, here at the Citadel, we take care of our own. So if you're ever riding out in the streets of Charleston and you see a cadet in a fight, you stop what you're doing, you put down your fork, you let go of your girlfriend's hand, your boyfriend's hand, and you jump in and help him out. Because here, we're all one. We look out for each other. I never forgot that. So here I am in Atlanta, still looking for jobs. I was on spring break or something. I called my man, Lance Thompson. He was coaching at Georgia Tech as a grad assistant. So I'm like, Lance, what's up, dog? Look, I need to come down there and do what's up, boom, boom. He says, come on down. Oh, I'm sorry. You guys don't speak that. Okay, what I was saying, the kids get it, but what I was saying, parents, was he allowed me to come down and run some copies of my resume off the computer. I ran about 25 copies off at Georgia Tech. I have on a cut-off sweatpants, a t-shirt, baseball cap on backwards, flip-flops. And this is when I realized the beauty of the Citadel, what you have. I walk out the computer lab and I literally walk into a sea of Georgia Tech graduates. Suited and booted, shirt and ties. The women had on suits, high heels. I mean, they were ready to go. They were walking into a huge job fair at Georgia Tech recruiting engineers. Ran into a young lady, she was cute. Denise knows about this. And I was talking to her, I still had my football body, so I guess she thought I was kind of trying. And we walked all the way there, right to the mouth of the thing. I don't remember, I think her name was Jennifer or something. She's 5'6", something. Phone number is 678, no, I'm sorry. I'm joking. Get to the mouth of the thing, and I'm thinking, I got to turn away. I just can't, I'm prepared. I should go home and change clothes. Maybe I can sneak in. They won't know I'm from Georgia Tech. I'm not from Georgia Tech. Right at the mouth of there, the first booth on the left was 3M booth, and they were there recruiting engineers. And I kind of made eye contact with the guy. I'm dressed like a complete bum, and I kind of did the, the universal, hi, how you doing? And he did it back. He spoke it, He was a white guy, too. He spoke it, so. It's like, he said, come on in. So I walked over and I said, hey, I'm just here. He says, well, you just leave practice? I said, no, I don't even go to school here. He says, where'd you go to school? I said, I'm about to graduate from the Citadel. Where? I said, the Citadel, Military College of South Carolina, Charleston. No, I know about the school. You go there? Well, yeah. Hey, he calls the other 3M guy over. This guy's at the Citadel. True story. We're talking, and they're spending about 20 minutes talking to me, dressed like a bum because I went to the Citadel at Georgia Tech. While the Georgia Tech kids are lined up down the aisle waiting to get their 2-minute interview with them, hoping to get a call back. That was Monday. I gave my resume. Thursday, they called me back. Hey, Morris, we'd like for you to fly into Minneapolis and have a test, meet with HR. Go in, take the test. Seemed pretty easy to me. They gave me an hour. It took me like 30 minutes. Hop back on the plane. Monday morning, they called. Hey, Morris, we got some really good news for you. Do I have a job? No. But listen, we just ran your test scores, and you scored one of the highest scores in the history of our test. And I'm like, you're kidding. Because I knew I was brilliant, but I had a really hard time convincing that faculty back there that I was here. I was in that thank you laude, not summa cum laude or anything like that. But that was Monday. Thursday, they called me back and said, we want you to fly into Minneapolis, have a job interview. We have a group that wants to talk to you. Talk to 8 people about nothing more than my Citadel experience. They're amazed. I might as well have said, I'm from Mars. They were looking at me like I was some different person. Did the interviews, flew back home. I mean, this is so true. My boy James Montague is here. He's a vice president of information technology at 3M right now. He's one of my mentors. Get your resumes ready. They called me Monday morning and said, Morris, do you have a job yet? I said, no, sir. You want to come work for us? Sir, yes, sir. All off of nothing. I walked in that interview. It wasn't even an interview. I walked in that room at another campus, and the only thing I had was everything that you guys have. I had the Citadel on my resume and this ring on my finger. And they took a chance on me. The guy that hired me, literally a few days later, came up, once I started working there, pulled me to the side and said, you know what, Morris? I interviewed 11 people for this job. 9 of them have their MBAs. 9 had their MBAs. I had a bachelor's degree in English. But you know what I liked about you? You went to the Citadel. So I knew that you had the aptitude to learn everything I was going to teach you. I knew you were going to work harder than everybody else. I knew you were going to be disciplined. I knew you were going to follow instructions. And I knew you had the mental toughness not to quit and leave me, because up here in Minnesota it gets really cold. And I didn't want to be left hanging. And I knew you weren't going to leave me. You're my guy. And I was like, sir, yes, sir. So I quit that job. Minnesota's cold. I don't care what y'all say. It's from Georgia. No, okay. So to be honest, I did quit the job, but it was 8 years later. I launched 4 products with the Data Storage Markets Division. I launched 4mm tape, 8mm tape, 3490 cartridges. They put me in sales. I took over all the sales in DC government, took over Virginia, made sales rep of the year, sold 500,000 diskettes to the International Monetary Fund. Then I quit. I made good on it. And what I want you to understand is, and this doesn't sound good, but really sometimes I think it's harder to be a Citadel graduate than it is to be a cadet, because the bar has been set so high. That's what makes you marketable. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you better than everybody else. I said it. I said it. There ain't a person that knows me that doesn't think I'm conceited. I'm conceited because I went here. There's no one that can do anything better than me if I put my mind to it, except for a room full of Citadel cadets. So, and then it gets real competitive. Opera. We talk about reinventing yourself. Had to reinvent myself to get a job in the business world. I was presented with an opportunity. I was always singing the national anthem at sporting events, singing at people's weddings, lots of them here. Always knew I had this freakish kind of voice, but really didn't know what to do with it. I don't want to bore you guys with all the intricacies of what my story was about, but I was presented with an opportunity to sing opera, and someone heard me and said, you know, Morris, if you quit your job, you have the chance of being famous, successful at this. Many, many sleepless nights, trying to decide, is it worth it? Everything that we all normally work for, I had a house, family, company car, expense account. I was doing really well, great salary. Why would I quit that and try to pursue opera? I don't even know opera singers. Like, I never met one in my life, especially a black one. Like, we just don't do that, you know? And to pursue something like that is like, you know, it's out of your mind. But you know what? I talked to my family, talked to my friends, and ultimately, and I found this out recently, you know, I like to say that fear is often disguised as practicality. I heard Jim Carrey say this, don't let fear disguised as practicality keep you from your dreams. This thing's falling off. And I realized that if I was going to take a gamble on anything and anyone, I was going to take a gamble on myself. Because I knew what I came from, and I knew what I was capable of, and I knew if I put my mind to it, there's no one that could stop me. Every last one of you guys is equipped with the same thing. Trust me on this. You may not even see it right now, but I promise you, you have it. You have it. So I get to my first opera rehearsal because I decided to go ahead and do it and give it a shot. I was smart about it. I took the Citadel route. I moved money around, put stuff in the savings account, had my mortgage drawn out for 2 years, you know, took a job at a Best Buy. I really went all the way back in and decided I was going to work harder than everybody else. I was going to do everything they told me to do, and hopefully they'll make good on their promise at BU like the Citadel did to me when I took that route there. So I get to my first operatic rehearsal. It was really crazy, but like after about 3 weeks of studying opera, I got a job with the Boston Lyric Opera Company. It's just one of those things that happen, you know. And I walk in my first rehearsal to sing The King and Aida, a role I just sang 2 weeks ago at the Metropolitan Opera. And it went just like this. Alta cagion vadun au fidi egizial vos resta. That's the conductor. Not yet, guys. All right, so you all liked it. The conductor didn't. He said, stop, do it again. Boom, boom, Stop. Okay, this is gonna be a long day. I don't even know what I'm doing wrong, but apparently everything, like I was not pronouncing my vowels right, I didn't know what legato, he was just killing me. At one point, I got to the point I just said, Jesus. And his immediate reaction was, what are you calling him for? He can't help you now. You should have called on him when you were learning it. And my immediate reaction was to look at his right hand and see if he graduated from 2nd Battalion, because this guy was like, is he from Echo because he knew I was from Hotel? Like, was he like the only regimental band person in the history of the Citadel to come out being hardcore? I mean, I'm sorry. My bad, I sing with the band all the time. You know. Look, if you're a Citadel graduate and you can't take a joke, something's wrong with you, all right? Y'all know what I mean. No, I ain't scared of y'all guys. Okay, so after the rehearsal, all my colleagues, all these little artsy people, they're running around, oh my God, how'd you make it? Oh my God, that was so brutal. Do you regret leaving? I was like, is that the hardest thing I gotta face in opera? Somebody yelling at me? The tenor was like really, really feeling bad. And I was like, dude, where'd you go to school? He said, I went to New England Conservatory of Music, man. I said, let me tell you something. When you were 18 years old and you had on flip-flops and your sweatshirt, you were running late to your 10 o'clock theory class, I had already cleaned my room, made my bed, shined my breath, shined my shoes, cleaned my garbage, emptied the upperclassmen garbage, swept the galleries, did 473 push-ups, went to formation, got yelled at, braced, marched to breakfast, marched back from breakfast, finished cleaning up my room, and made it to my 750 class before I got to demerit. Every day. So you mean to tell me this is how hard it gets? I'll see you at the Metropolitan Opera in a few years, which I did do, but come to find out that guy, along with the director of music at Boston University, said, you know, Morris, we took a chance on you because we saw your pedigree. We knew you had this voice, but lots of people have voices, but not everybody wants to work at it. You follow where I'm going here? It doesn't change. Talent never surpasses hard work. Hard work can't always surpass talent, but if you have them both, you can be great. Everyone in this room, right here, you have them both. All right, so I got one more story to tell. And this one's kind of personal, but it's really important because you guys learn so many lessons here. I've talked about duty, honor, respect, discipline, hard work, assiduousness, the ability to adapt, all these things you learn here. And I couldn't be more proud of this school than I am today because 25 years ago, I couldn't say what I'm about to say. I graduated 25 years ago. This year marks the 50th anniversary of the first African-American graduate of the Citadel, Mr. Charles Foster. It's the 20th anniversary of the first female cadet to graduate from the Citadel. 2 weeks ago, I snuck on campus and didn't tell anybody I was coming because they'd asked me to sing somewhere. And we pinned our first active duty African-American general from the Citadel, Dave Wilson, my classmate. And I stand before you today as the first African-American to ever address the Corps of Cadets. So when I was 11 years old, the same age as my son, sitting up there in my house, I was riding in the car with my dad. I want you guys to bear with me for a minute. Give me a little bit of latitude, like lawyers ask for, if I may, just roll with me for a second. I was riding in the car with my dad, who's sitting up there next to my 11-year-old son. And we were getting off at this exit, right before the exit I currently live at. We're going to this new mall called Shannon Mall. And as we're getting off that exit, there's a big, huge Confederate flag on the left side, Confederate flag on the right side, a lot of guys with hoods and stuff on, handing out little tiny Confederate flags to every car that got off at the exit. Well, every car but mine, but you know. I guess it was a whole target marketing thing. I didn't quite fit the description. So I was scared because other than the Dukes of Hazzard, I knew that to be a bad thing. And I wasn't so scared because I was riding in the car with my dad. My dad's a superhero. But I knew that these guys didn't like me for whatever reason. So a few years later, I found myself at this institution. I'm playing ball, I'm doing what I gotta do, I'm putting out, I'm working hard, doing push-ups and playing ball. And after every time we scored a touchdown, I saw that thing and I heard Dixie. But it never hurt me more than this one thing when we went up, all right, you guys are gonna get mad at me. We went up to Williams-Brice Stadium my senior year, and we beat, where are my football players at? We beat an undefeated Carolina football team. Not the 3-8 team y'all beat. I'm Big Brother, I'm gonna rib you a little bit. I mean, look, I was in California preparing to sing Bellini's Norma on stage when you guys won, and I cried like a baby. The Post-and-Courier called me, hey, Morris, what do you think? I was like, I'm so happy for you guys. I was such a punk. I was crying like a baby. So I'm proud of you guys. So we went up there and we beat those guys in that doggone field. So Jack Douglas, the greatest option quarterback in the history of the wishbone, who's also the slowest quarterback in the history of the wishbone. Like, I never saw, Jack couldn't outrun me, but on the football field, no one ever caught him. It's like the greatest thing. He faked the handoff to Everett Sands, who walked in the end zone. He got to the end of the line. He was gonna fake the pitch shot, but there was no one there. Ray Winbush, the halfback, was out there, throw me the ball, throw me the ball. And Jack is so opportunistic, he's like, you know what, forget you, I'm going in. So he scores, and now he gets his jersey retired. At that moment, 78,000 fans up there sounded like this. Right until Jack crossed the line. And then I heard him go, and I heard our little 3,000 Citadel fans in the back, my mom and dad were there, go, biggest accomplishment of my whole athletic career. And I grabbed Kerry Cash, my right tackle, best-selling author, New York Times. I hug him. I grabbed Spencer Scott, his big fat butt's up here right now. Love you, brother. He was the one that knocked Corey Miller into the end zone to get us to score that touchdown. He had snot bubbles come out of his zone. It's a whole different story, not time to talk about that. Well, General Watts was talking about you yesterday, fat boy. That's my boy. Look, we talk about each other all the time. That's just how we operate. I love you, man. I grabbed big fat Brett Copeland by the neck, and I'm cheering, and all of a sudden I heard that song and saw that flag again, and I dropped my head, and it hurt me. Because in my most celebratory moment, it got usurped from me. And I worked hard for this school. 25 years later, I come back here, and this place has changed. This ain't the same. The Confederate flag in Dixie left a while ago, but when I look out at this student population, when I was here a few weeks ago and I saw people, I saw female cadets with rank. I saw Asian cadets. I don't even think we had one when I was here. I saw such diversity. And I realized that of all the things I'm proud of at this school has changed. They have turned it around. They figured it out. With this president, this administration, that faculty, you student bodies, you've taken control of the narrative and you changed the direction of the school. And I'm so proud of you. If you've never learned another lesson, learn what it's like to have diversity, be fair, work with one another. That's great. I'm going to close by saying this. Of all the lessons you learn here, go out. Be great. Take it to the world. Show that the road less traveled is worth it. You guys learned a lot here. We're not all the way there with all the things that we need to accomplish, but doggone it, I've never been more proud of anything. You guys are the best there is. You're the best class of 2017 on the globe. No one's better than you. No one's smarter than you. No one's tougher than you. No one's going to work harder than you. No one's has more aptitude than you. No one has more attitude than you. Go out and make us all proud. Reach that bar that they set really high, that all of us set high, and surpass it. Move the needle. Go out and be the best you can be. You're the class of 2017 of the Citadel. I am proud of you all. God bless you. God bless the Citadel. God bless America. O citadel, we sing thy fame for all the world to hear. And in the path our fathers showed us, follow without fear. Peace and honor, God and country, we will fight for thee. O citadel, we pray.